What's up?
What's up?
Grant Gasser in the house.
Hey, everyone.
Good to
I'm
see you, dude.
House. How are
Uh,
you?
I'm good. I just realized I'm wearing a shirt that you designed.
Ouch.
Is it
That's my
backwards?
plug right there. That's the only plug I need. Game over.
It's my favorite shirt. It really is. I think my number one favorite like shirt that
Isn't it also comfort colors too? So it's like a really good feeling
it
shirt.
is. Yes, it's comfort colors and they just like fit really well.
Yeah. Who ended up printing those? Because I know I didn't.
I think it was Andrew.
Oh.
What was his last name? I
Nelson.
can't remember. He was one of Clay's friends.
Yeah. Damn.
He was really really quiet, but I remember he went
Yeah.
to school with us, and he would just like on the side, he just like go
Yeah, I
back to
remember
his
his company.
barn.
It was third story. It was third story printing or third
Yeah,
story studio or something like that. But yeah.
it seemed like cool work, but I think he wound up selling the entire thing like before I dropped out of school. Even
Really?
yeah, he was just like, yeah, this is boring.
Game over. Pull the plug.
um, yeah, dude. What's up? Right off the bat, I feel like we should plug what you got going on right now because you've got a book, an art book.
Art book, yes.
What did you call it?
Art book.
Art
Yeah.
book, yes, called Archipelago.
Yes.
That just came out, uh, is coming out,
Is
is
coming.
available now.
Yeah, the pre-sales open, which is it's a good deal because it's a whole $10 cheaper and local people all deliver it to your front door free of charge.
You will?
Yeah. Oh, I will.
Dude,
I like
cool.
the pen, so it's a fun gig.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah. But hey, I could do a little cameo.
You have a copy with you?
Oh, I got a bunch. Got them all today.
Oh, man. Wow, they're big.
I know, right? I wanted to get something that was like, you remember Love is Dead, the size of that?
Totally.
I wanted it to be like substantial enough to like fit in your hand. Because there's a
Right.
problem with zines when they're so tiny is like I think a lot of people can see them as less of like a statement. Not that I'm trying to like, you know, emphasize too much, but yeah. So
Yeah, right. I think you've always done a really good job of like making sure that your art is valued. Like it is
thank you, I
when
appreciate
you
it.
make the when you make your like art books and or zines or whatever you call them, like
Yeah.
whatever it is at the time, it you always like make sure to promote it really well. You'll like oftentimes have like a physical event that people can go to like see it, whether it's like at
I
the
mean,
gallery,
that's
you know.
definitely the hardest part. I hate it with everything. It stresses me out beyond any of the actual making of anything. But it feels like a necessary evil, at least at the moment, just trying to,
Yeah.
because it's so, and I mean, I don't like Instagram and I don't enjoy the purpose it serves, but like realistically, it's my platform at the moment. So like I have to kind of learn to have like a healthy balance with it to
Yeah,
be able
right.
to use it as like a platform to promote and release stuff, if you will. But yeah,
I
it's
feel like you're really good at Instagram. What is your I mean, I know we all have qualms with it, but like what's your big frustration with like trying to do graphic design on and visual work art on Instagram?
I think that it's saturated. I think that there's like it's just too bloated in every avenue. I think I really much enjoy like virtual experiences, but I think that like Instagram provides like this false virtual experience, which is not beneficial towards the art or like in my case, yeah, my visual art. It's just kind of like making this like quick sell target like platform that's just
Right.
digital and virtual, so it kind of like comes across as if it's helping, but I don't think it does. And I think it's just like I don't know, it removes the obvious thing is it removes interaction, like going to a show, seeing like visual art or going to a show and seeing music rather than just hearing clips on Instagram. Like obviously those are I think what things that most people can agree with. But yeah, I don't know. It's just if I had my way, I would not exist on it. And I
Yeah,
would
right.
be able to like, yeah, send out an email, and then all would work. But hopefully someday. That's a goal, I guess.
Yeah, they always told me in music school and even like on online marketing classes that your email list is the most important thing.
Might be.
Like still to this day, which I've always find interesting because I feel like
Yeah.
young people don't seem like they use email as much, but they say apparently even like in 2020,
Yeah.
email is like the best way to communicate with people. Do you feel like what are some ways that you feel like online, like what formats have you seen like visual art be like displayed or for sale that have seemed more hopeful or more exciting or engaging?
Um, there are, well, I have seen that like some artists and gallery owners have created quote unquote virtual galleries in the sense that they will just do like once a week they'll say this week is dedicated to a certain artist, and then they'll post like their paintings or whatever form of art they do. They'll post like photos of
Whoa.
them for a whole week, something like that. So I think that there's like some fruit in there, because I like that model. I think that's good. But then my problem is that it does like just disassociate more and more. And I think like visual art as a whole is kind of seeing a decline to an extent. I know everyone says that in some way, shape, or form, but I feel like um, not the interest is declining, because I think the interest, if anything, is increasing. It's just that like I think the value of it is kind of being stripped because it's so readily available on
Right.
Instagram. And I know people who like kind of work or make work for Instagram. Like they will make something that takes them a good couple hours, and then the finalization of that piece is just posted. And to me, I'm like, I don't know.
Whoa.
I'm also a very tactile person, so the idea that all my stuff can just float in the internet and never like materialize, that's just personally, I don't like that. But I mean, that's why I make books and stuff like that, because I want to feel stuff. But
Yeah, right. The books are do a good job of like helping document where you are and like a season of life like you will spend
yeah,
and you'll have created this piece and it helps. I mean, it helps me like I feel like I can better explain or like understand like or like tell a friend what you're doing
yeah,
than a lot of my friends who just maybe have just like an endless stream of commissioned like posters and like graphic work. So in terms of like it being able to be like understood and like maybe in turn maybe supported,
yeah,
I do feel like making those physical books is like a really creative and exciting way to release your artwork.
yeah. Good. I'm glad, because I mean, I do see them a lot as like, I struggle to say albums, but it's like the best kind of, I don't know, just like, yeah, like how you said, kind of a capture of at least a period of time, whether that's like broad or super specific. But
Yeah. How many
yeah.
have you made at this point? Like, cause I feel like there's maybe
Oh,
four or
yeah.
five
Oh, I don't know.
or way more than that.
There are like also probably 4 or 5 that are just one-offs that I have that haven't really seen the light of day. I mean, I maybe posted about them, but they were just like painted ones that I would like hand bind. I don't know if
Right.
I would count those then. But like for
That's
production-based
cool.
ones that have seen multiple copies, probably 5 or 6, I think. Yeah,
Cool.
that seems about right.
Yeah. Let's see. Are they all still on your, I guess a lot of them are gone now or they're probably sold out because they're not on your big cartel.
Yes, some of them actually are. They're like you got to scroll down, or they might be in the category books. If
Oh,
you,
okay.
yeah, yeah, because Mouse Dog Bird was
Yeah.
recent.
Mouse Dog Bird art book.
Yeah,
Uh, Everyone is so near. Defense loses championships. I remember seeing that one for the first time in Akron.
Oh yeah.
You were in
Yeah, yeah.
Akron for the summer,
Yeah.
which we've had some good memories there, man. Do you ever? When was the last time you went to Akron?
Um, I was back there in June. Yeah. Yeah, I was back there in June.
How's
I
everybody
wanna
doing?
I was just thinking about it the other day. I want to go back during the fall because I mean, I miss the weather there. It was so much colder and it's too
Yeah,
hot here. I just miss the cold, man.
yeah.
But
Can you like stand these summers at all, or are they just dreadful?
honestly, I was like so much dreading this summer, but it has not been that bad. Like I thought
Cool.
it was gonna be horrible and I would hate it, but it's not horrible. I just prefer not humid and hot.
Is
But
this your first summer here?
yeah, full summer, yeah. First
Where,
full summer.
where are you living now?
West End area.
Oh, so you're not at that house next to Lipscomb anymore.
No, yeah. I moved out May in May. Yeah, so I've only been here for a little bit, but
Who do you live with?
Caleb Clemente and Niall.
Cool. I don't
Yeah.
think I know Caleb. Maybe.
He goes to Lipscomb. He's graduating soon, but yeah.
Cool. And Niall, how's Niall doing?
Really good. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. That's cool. Y'all all have a place. That's cool.
It's super nice. I love it a lot. Yeah.
I guess this
We're
is a
like mid, almost to downtown, so we get like the nice halfway spot in between, like super urban, but also
yeah.
green hills, you know. So
Does
nice.
this mean you're like in Nashville for at least a year lease?
Yeah, at least for a year. Yeah. But I don't
Cool.
know. I don't know what the next plan is. I have ideas, but I don't know where.
How long were you in LA?
Just for a couple months. That was just a summer thing.
Yeah, right. Who were
Yeah.
you working with there? What were you doing again?
Robbie Simon, he's this like visual artist designer. And I was his studio assistant. So yeah, he's done like the work with Alalaz. I'm sure you've seen his stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's so cool.
But yeah, I did like it was honestly like I had a lot of fun doing it, but it was just like his work is super technical and very like methodical. So he would just give me the sketches that he did that were not methodical, and I would just go in Illustrator and like make them perfect lines. So that's all I did. Well, I did some other things, but that was the majority of what I did. But it was honestly like the perfect amount of like busy work and creative work that like I didn't. Yeah, it was just really fun.
Wow, that's cool. What was it like being in LA? Did you dig it?
I don't know. I don't know. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I was gonna hate it. But yeah, I don't know. I really want to go back for just to like see what I feel about it now after,
Yeah.
because that was my first time there. My first time there, I lived for 3 months. So
Whoa,
it
that's
was,
crazy.
well, yeah, it was kind of weird because I had like no preconceived ideas of what it was even like, except just pictures, I guess.
Yeah.
And then just jumped into moving there. So it was really fun. I'm curious like how I would respond to it now. But
Yeah, right. That's
yeah,
cool. If you didn't live in Nashville, do you think that'd be where you'd be?
I don't know. I think I lean more towards Midwestern towns. I like the like
Cool.
subtlety of them rather than, yeah. It just LA seemed a little too like glamour and
Yeah.
poppy for me. Yeah, it was every other person I ran into was like making an album or doing art in some way, and like I did like that, but it was just like I don't know. It just was so. It was very bubble like. It felt like this is the place where all dreamers go or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like where are regular people? I don't want to be around this all the time.
Whoa. Well,
But
is Nashville like that?
um, that's partly my problem with Nashville is I feel like Nashville is like that, very microcosmically because it's not. I think it's like so not split, but it's it's versatile in the sense that there is like, at least to my knowledge, because I've only been here for 4 years, but like the old Nashville that is like far more working class and just like honestly Midwestern Southerner, like, and then there's the new Nashvilleian who's very like, I don't know, just Instagram. So that's the way I could put it. And so it like,
And we
yeah,
know
I
how
think,
you feel about Instagram, so we can read into that.
yeah, it just feels like there's a lot of like fluff here sometimes where I almost don't, I try to like hush up of what I do because I don't want to feed into the like romanticization of art and music here, because it feels like everyone's, and there's nothing wrong, like I fully support everyone diving into it and like giving it a shot, but it feels like there are ulterior motives, if that makes sense.
Huh? Could you talk about that a little bit more? I'm
Yeah.
curious what you mean.
I don't know. It feels like there is like a social currency in doing art and playing music that people kind of are like,
Yeah.
oh, what do I talk about at this show? How do I fit in? Oh, I'm doing an album, or oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I feel for that because I don't want people to have to feel that like pressure to jump into something. I don't think that's right. And a community like Nashville annoys me sometimes because I think it like encourages and perpetuates that. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, you are cool if you do music and you're an artist. And if you don't, you're all right, but like we'll only talk to you every once in a while.
You're like a side character in the narrative.
Exactly. It's like you can
You're like a
come in.
friend of the famous person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
could
it's
see
just
that.
yeah.
I think that I
Um
mean that's definitely true. I mean that I don't know. I think that that is kind of dangerous when we start idolizing
yeah.
people for certain careers more than others. And I've always felt like you've carried yourself in a really like humble way. Like I've heard you talk
Thank you.
against that kind of those kind of ideas. I feel like since I've known you, so that's interesting. And but also at the same time, I do feel like the art that you make is pretty unique. At least I can't think of that many other people in Nashville who do anything even remotely similar to your like
Yeah.
method and to your style of like output, like making art books. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I really don't. So I do feel like there is like something special about what you do, even in a place like this that maybe feels oversaturated. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I appreciate that. To be honest, I haven't really thought of it like what I
Hmm.
spend more time, or what I have spent more time like worrying about, I should say, is that I feel like it's not received in the same way because there is not a large community doing art books. Like there
Hmm.
I know like the guy that I've printed Rosology Club, that I
Right, right.
print most of my stuff with here, like knowing him and who he prints for, there is a community doing it. It's just not as like prominent as a bigger city like a Chicago, LA, or one of those, obviously. Um, but yeah, so part of me feels like this pull to go to somewhere like that, another big city that has a developed like book scene.
Yeah.
So instead of like trying to swim and try to get by with selling books, going to a place that's like more receptive. Because it feels like a lot of my energy right now is like convincing people why books are like, why buy a book, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And like part of me loves doing that because I always loved like how people would share to me why they're into what they're into, and like why they're compelled enough to share with me. So there's like some joy in that, but it also probably feels like I don't want, it's taxing, at least on me, to like try to convince people to pay me, you know?
Yeah.
Because it feels like I already am like, yeah, I have ill will towards it, as I'm like, I'm convincing you to care about art books because I want you to buy my books, right? So it
Yeah.
just seems like super, I don't know, capitalist, and it bugs me, but it feels a little more comfortable, at least. I could be naive, totally recognize that, but it feels like at least a little more comfortable to jump into a scene or some community that is already like interested in buying these books and then making alongside them. But
Yeah. Well, okay. So
that's one thought.
what would be the advantage of moving to a city where there is like a community when you're doing an art that you do feel like is mostly communicated like online, or that you could like build online and ship, even when you're making physical product, could like ship it internationally? What is it within a city that would like, why would you want to have a community like that, I guess?
Um, at least like, so one that I'm like kind of loosely referring to is Chicago. Because Chicago has been on my mind for a while of like a potential place to relocate to. But I just
Cool.
recently went to their art book fair in November, and I've been wanting to go since like for a couple of years, not too long. But I know that they are, New York has one, LA has one, but a lot of these bigger cities have these huge fairs, and they're all by these private, like independent shops, printing presses. They're selling the books that they've made for artists, but also artists selling their own books too. And like just being able to go through this fair like setting and like seeing all these people who, because like even the mere fact of what I print on, like risograph is not that well known across the board, but I think most like pretty consistently I find myself explaining it to people in Nashville. And I don't think that's a problem, but like when I go to a Chicago or something like that, there's none of me saying like, hey, I made this book, it's on this cool printing process. They're like, yeah, we know, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, right.
so there's like one less, it also puts a lot more attention on the work itself. And I think people are like more receptive to it because they're consuming it a lot more, you know? It's like the same reason why, I don't know, if you're a jazz musician, you're going to lead towards a bigger city, like in an urban
Yeah,
setting, you know, just because you can
totally.
play more, you know, and people
Yeah,
are going, you're not going to have to explain to people like, this is what jazz is. Are you interested? Like, there's already a community that's like, let's hear what you got, you know? So
and like
there's the balance there though. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely a give and take, but
that's cool. Yeah, I can see how like an actual community, especially like through word of mouth and just actually being friends and working with each other, could like
yeah,
help spread the word about your art with other like-minded people in a
totally.
way that could like, that where I could see the and it would just also be nice to be around people who understand it and like,
Yeah.
are interested in similar things. That makes sense. Well, what brought you to Nashville to begin with? Like, what made you want to come to Lipscomb?
Good question. Um, so when I was looking at schools, I narrowed it down to SCAD and Lipscomb. I don't know why.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know why how it got to that. I didn't apply to many, but like I think, yeah, I think it was like from 5 to 2. So then I narrowed it down to that. SCAD seemed like career-wise, maybe like a cool, like a better technical experience, and it probably was. But I knew I wanted to be in like a city that I hadn't lived in, and not, I've heard like Savannah, and it is confirmed by friends who like went to SCAD, that Savannah is just very touristy. So like
Yeah.
the only thing really happening is that there's a college there.
Right.
So they all felt like very unfulfilled that they didn't get to get involved in like scenes and branch out of their college. So, and I saw that coming, like, so I said, I want to at least be in a city, and I got far more money to go to Lipscomb than that.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
yeah. And I figured like if I'm around only art students, I'm going to get sick and tired of it pretty quick. And I was like, I'd rather be open to a liberal
Yeah.
arts
Right.
education where I can kind of learn from all ends instead of just one super specified, you know,
Right.
which
I
I don't
mean,
think is a problem. Just for me, I think like I would get super just
yeah.
burnt out, you know.
That I mean, that aligns with what you're saying about looking for like nuance within a city and like the
Yeah.
Midwest. Like in the same way, going to a school like a liberal arts school, there's going to be there is going to be a visual art and like an art community, but it's going to be within a greater uh, ecosystem. So I could see how that would attract you. And I could also, I mean, I think Nashville makes, knowing you, I feel like Nashville makes more sense than Savannah, like as a city that you
Oh,
would want to like
absolutely.
be within.
Yeah, totally. And like Nashville's been fantastic. Like as much as I am looking to move relatively soon, um, I think it's been like it was so encouraging to be able to get like, yeah, just some confidence to make stuff for artists, to be able to make posters, and then start thinking maybe I can make things that aren't posters and aren't I can show people this stuff that like has no attachment to music, like, you know. And so I think that if I was honestly, and I mean, I say it all the time to like people who don't live here, like friends back at home and elsewhere, like I got a show of my art as a first one was a sophomore in college. And that was like thinking of being part of an art crawl in any other big metropolitan area at that age is not like people aren't usually receptive to that.
Right.
Because I just knew like people who were working there. It wasn't that like my work was good because that show was kind of funny,
Was this
honestly.
at Open?
Yeah, it was the Fernandina show. Like it's laughable in hindsight, but like it was because they were so receptive, like Nashville as a whole, I feel like is receptive to a young person trying to do that. Rather than if I was in New York and I was like, hey guys, can I have a show? Like they'd be like, nice, cool, man. Like tell us in 10 years, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it's been fantastic to start a career, you know, here.
Yeah, right.
Super
Yeah,
thankful for that.
we've worked together a lot. You did the design work for Cosmic House, for a bunch of t-shirts and
Yeah.
posters, and then you've also worked a lot with Vanosdale.
Yeah.
I think their most recent single you did the cover for,
One time.
as well as the
Sun bleach guy.
yeah, as well as Sunbleached. I love seeing what y'all do together. I think it's
Yeah.
really cool and like really
Devin is super fun to work with. He's just the perfect amount of like encouraging and letting me do my own thing, but like giving me like a good critique. You know what I mean? Like giving
yeah,
me an actual direction, but also saying like, we trust you. Go ahead. So
right.
it's so fun to work with bands
That's
like
cool.
that.
Do
Yeah.
you still do a lot of commission work?
I'm trying to, yeah. With COVID, I think a lot of things, like with everyone, things kind of got put on hold, which is understandable because, as you know, like a lot of my commissions were posters that
Yeah,
are solely dependent on a show happening.
yeah,
So, but yeah. So, I've had like a few commissions here and there since then, but for the most part, a lot of the show stuff is completely dried up. But
yeah,
I have
right.
faith it's coming back, you know. So it'll just
Totally.
be a matter of time, you know. So
Yeah, and that reminds me that when I first met you, and like something that I've always known about you is that you are a really big fan of music. So
yeah,
it does make sense like moving to Music City and being a
yeah,
place where you like and like starting with a lot of like when you're looking for a commission, like being able to do music oriented
mhm.
commissions, like that does seem specifically like something that you would have been interested in, especially
Yeah,
like when coming to Nashville, would you say?
yeah, totally. Because my original idea was like graphic design. Because I think, I mean, I say this a lot now, because I honestly just realized it recently. But I think I know it's kind of a cliche, but I think I truly wanted to be a visual artist since like as long as I can remember. But I was super embarrassed and like didn't want to admit that. I don't know if it was embarrassed. It just didn't feel like I was like trying to suppress it for many, many reasons. And so then when I finally like late high school was like, all right, I'll let it like I'll ease some suppression on. I was like, I leaned towards graphic design because I was like, oh, that's practical, you know, that's like the business way to do art. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So then my original intention coming down here was like, I know there are going to be bands here. Like they call it Music City. They got to have bands playing. So hopefully I can like meet some people and get started on making their covers. And then through that process, I realized like I still want to do that, but like visual art on my own is mainly the direction I want to take. But yeah,
Right.
it was definitely my intention. Like that was definitely what got me down here. Was like
Yeah.
music. I could do design for that.
Well, was there, I mean, in Akron where you grew up, was there, oh, are you born and raised in Akron?
Hudson is the actual city, but like yeah,
Hudson, that's right. That's right.
Akron's like what I say because it's like 15 minutes outside of it, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hudson is where we ate at that Chipotle and went to that record store, right? That
yeah,
was downtown Hudson.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Word. Yeah. So you are born and raised there, and you say like in late high school you started maybe opening up a little bit about your interest in uh, art, visual art. Do Was there anything going on pre college that's like worth mentioning? Was there any like fundamental
Oh,
piece or like moment that happened?
no, I think it just like the one thing that I'm trying to like rein in and try to figure out how to use it in the best way possible is it's because it's a blessing and a curse, but I work like really, really fast. Um, so the good part of that is I can put out a lot, but like I'm also kind of really messy in how I work, and it's just yeah, it's not conducive to like super thought out. That's why I like doing collection things like books, so it can be quantity and then the whole thing can have a concept rather than like individual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what like I'm leaning into painting now, so I can like open up some more like specified energy on something. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, so um I think graphic design, like learning Photoshop and all that stuff in high school, was perfect because it allowed me to work really quick and allowed me to like just do, I don't want to say mindless stuff, but honestly, at the time it was kind of mindless, but just like work really fast and make all this just fun stuff and not like run out of supplies, not have to wait for things to dry. You know what I mean? So I could just get ideas out as quick as possible. And so that's why I still like continue, and I hope I always will, like primarily use Photoshop and stuff like that for the majority of my work, just because it like allows me to move as fast as like the impatient part of me wants to, you know. So,
Yeah. Right.
but
That's cool. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I think that's definitely like that definitely started me out in a good path. I think because it like gave me the freedom to not, and there's just a lot less pressure. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
how intimidating a large canvas is, a blank large canvas, as opposed to like a blank Photoshop screen. You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
at that age and to this day, but like it was just so much more attainable to make something out of nothing with a mouse rather than
Yeah.
like having to pull something real quick, you know? So
Yeah. I think that makes sense. That's cool. So when you went to Lipscomb, what was the name of your major?
it was started out as graphic design marketing, and it was like a dual major or something like that. It wasn't a double major, it was just like a dual. It was, but then within a semester they told me they discontinued it. They're like, yeah, no, we don't do that anymore.
No
And I was
way.
like, this is why I'm here. I applied for this.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
luckily, like a couple months later, I realized like I don't want to do marketing. I don't want to do anything in business. I just want to do graphic design. So that worked out.
So
And so
so you switched your major to graphic design?
yeah, just the BFA, and then rode that for the
A what? A BF what?
BFA, bachelor's
Bachelor in
in
Fine Arts?
operations.
Cool. Oh, okay, word.
Yeah,
That's cool. And you're finished now, right? You finished this
yep,
past spring.
yep, all
Wow.
done.
Congrats, man. Congrats on finishing it. I know for a while, I feel like we both talked about dropping out for a while. I don't know how seriously you were thinking about it, but it seemed like you were at least a little bit always in the back of your mind thinking about dropping out.
The time I got really when I was like highly considering it was the end of junior year, but then I was like, if I just have one more year, I might as well do it.
That's where I was too. This end of junior year, I was like, man,
Yeah,
that was February junior year for me that when I dropped out, you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
And the beauty of like, especially the work I was doing at that time that I wanted to pursue more of, it was solely on my laptop, solely on my own in my room. So I was like, it's not like school is really inhibiting that much. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but like, you know what I mean? I can do this for 1 year because I don't need to travel. I don't need to like play shows. I can just do this in my free time. So it was far more conducive, I think, to like someone in my line. But yeah,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
When you first came to school, like, but the first time I met you, which was like, it wasn't even like the school year hadn't even started. You were like an incoming freshman. There's like a week at Lipscomb where kids like,
yeah,
it's called like Quest Week, and you just like do activities as a
yeah,
freshman to kind of get to know people. And I was like showing up to help with something, to perform at something, and I met you, Niall, Briston, and Briston Maroney and Cole
probably
Shoot.
Kwame.
Yeah, Kwame,
Kwame, yeah.
Cole Shoegard. I'm trying to think who else. Y'all were all just there, like, and you seem like you all already become like best friends. Um, and I just thought that was so interesting. Well, how did you meet all these people so quickly that wound up becoming like really good friends of yours?
It's such a cheesy story. It's like the corniest thing I could think of. But, ugh, like I was just laughing about it the other day with Niall. But so I was sitting in my high-rise room and I was like alone and I was like, well, I gotta make friends. I mean, I know I will, but like I just gotta like I gotta seize an opportunity, you know, like I just gotta make like find something. And so then I was just sitting there and I was like kind of just bored, like on my phone, and I heard Tame Impala coming from the next room. And I was like, shoot, I like Tame Impala. If they like Tame Impala, I should be friends, right?
Yeah.
So then, oh gosh, I like just walked over and I knocked on the door, and it was Cole, Niall, and Briston. And then, like, I just said that I was like, "Hey, I'm your next door neighbor, and I just heard you were listening to Tame Impala, and I like them too. What are you doing tonight, or something?" And then we hung out, and then it just, yeah,
No way.
yeah, it's so corny, but it's kind of funny. But
Dude, I cannot believe that. That's crazy.
yeah.
Tame Impala, I feel like they're just popular enough to where you could like. That's not like that was like a.
I feel like maybe at the time it wasn't as much, but still,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe not. Maybe
yeah,
not. But in like 2017, I guess.
yeah. 2016 actually.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So it was like, yeah. But I was like, yeah, because the people I was hanging out with, I was just like great people, but I just like could tell there was like nothing we could talk about. And
Yeah.
I knew they didn't like me because I didn't like laugh at their jokes, and they sure as hell didn't laugh at mine. So I was like, what am I gonna do? It's just so funny how, yeah. But then like, yeah, me, Brisson, and Niall, like that friendship just kind of started off like shockingly quick. But
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Do you get to talk to Kwame much? Is he in New York now?
yeah, we was living in Brooklyn, and then with COVID, they moved to Rochester, which is just upstate. I guess it's like more,
Yeah, Rochester, New York.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
like closer to Buffalo. It's like,
yeah, almost, yeah, like basically Buffalo area. Yeah,
whoa.
but he's been down a couple times since, but yeah, we're still in good contact with him. Good friend.
Cool. That's awesome. What about do you get to talk to Briston much anymore?
Yeah, when he's in town, yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I see him here and there, but yeah,
And then Briston's like childhood best friend is Devin, who we were just talking about in
yeah,
Vansdale. And you and Devin are pretty tight too, I feel like now.
yeah.
That's really cool. That's cool that you found like right off the bat kind of a community that has
It's
become like close to you.
it's honestly so crazy how quick that's what's like the most interesting part of it is that like, yeah, one, how quick that happened, but like how much how broad that spread, you know, which was cool. But
Yeah,
I guess that's pretty typical, right? You know, you
I
have your
guess so. It's
friends,
just I don't know. There's something that even after going there for literally my whole life that I can't quite figure out about like Lipscomb, and like
yeah,
I can't quite figure out what attracts people to it, like and how it. I somehow made friends for life there, even though people throw a lot of shade at it too. Like
Yeah.
people throw shade and act like it's like, I don't know. And like, I know it does have problems. Like it's not a perfect place by any means. And part of why I dropped out was because I wasn't learning, or at least learning what I thought I needed to be. But in
Yeah.
other ways, my friends were. But I am just like going to forever in my life be grateful for it, and for the people I met, like you, that happened to just like stumble upon this like kind of small Christian school in the middle of Tennessee.
Yeah. It is. It was so funny to me because like the first year when I noticed that a lot, but like people would ask where I was from, and then they'd be like, "Why are you here?" And I didn't understand for so long. I was like, "Why do you ask that question? What do you mean? Like, people go to colleges all over the place." And I quickly realized it was like, no, but how did you find out? Like, how do you even know? You know, but
Yeah.
which I do find kind of funny. But
Yeah, right. That is funny. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about your newest project that you just put out, Archipelago, which is available now. If anybody listening is interested, you can go on. I guess they can go to grantgasser.bigcartel.com.
yeah, you could just go to my website, grantgasser.com, and that'll get you where you need to be.
That's the best place to go, grantgasser.com. What's like new about this project? Like, is there a certain thing you're working on, or certain
Um, so
focus?
this one is far like luckily, or I don't know if luckily is the term I wanted, but it is the most fleshed out like concept of any book, I feel. Because I feel like the books before had a direction, but they were more like collections of things that like fit generally to something, but it was kind of way more vague. While this one's like, I feel far more specified. But it's called
Cool.
Archipelago, like because that word means a collection of islands. So like Hawaii, think of Hawaii as an archipelago. Um, but I was thinking because of a lot of like just the way the political climate is, a lot of the way that I think we interact, like me growing up in a Christian household and then me, you know, moving away and then me going to a Christian school while I grew up going to public schools my whole life, and how jarring it was to go to public high school and then go to a Christian private college and how weird that was. And just
Whoa,
starting
yeah.
to realize like I played football for most of my life and it made no sense to my personality then and who I am now. So just dealing with all these like group identity, I guess you could just call it group politics, honestly. And so the idea was that like all these groups that we consider ourselves parts of communities are archipelagos. And we kind of like convince ourselves that they're these land masses, that we are all the same, and all Christians are this way, all liberals are this way, all, you know what I mean, all Republicans do this. But the reality of it is that they're still just islands. Like people are still just their own individual beings in those groups. And so the same
Yeah.
water that like divides Hawaii from America is the same water that divides the individual islands of Hawaii. You know what I mean? So saying that like there's no reason to really separate ourselves from people on that side of the political spectrum or this side of religion or whatever else it is, because that's the same thing that's dividing like people who are in the same community. So
Wow.
I
Okay.
try to
Yeah.
say like not to get hung up on that and to realize that like group identities are not defining, and we shouldn't perpetuate them. We shouldn't say I am this and only this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. That makes
yeah,
sense. So how does
yeah.
that translate? Or I guess, how do you take those ideas into the art? Is there a lot of text, or is it all visual?
There is one page, the center spread, that has a quote, and it's this quote that is referring to a painting by this painter R.B. Katai. The painting is called, in German, it's "Do You Know the Country?" and it's a song, like an old because the painting was made in the 60s. But it's an old song that like the painting's clearly about like post World War II. It's very centered around like nationalism and this idea of pride in where you're from and pride in who you are. So it's kind of that question of like, do you know the country? Are you just an American? Is it as simple as that to say that you're an American and that's it? And here is what an American is, you know what I mean? So, but other than that, it's just photos and I don't know what to call them, honestly, just images I made in Photoshop.
Yeah.
With like a lot of scanned drawings that are layered. Very, very layered is the best way to scan it.
How do you scan things? Do you scan things at your house?
Yeah, I have a little baby cheap scanner. And so a lot of times I'll just honestly, a majority of this book, the ones that aren't photos are things that I scanned that were just like different objects, different textures. And
Yeah.
they're intentionally unrecognizable because I just want them to be more abstract and vague, I guess. But yeah.
Do you feel like this book is more abstract than other books? And is that would like artistically, if you were to describe the difference it is from your past works?
I wouldn't say it's more abstract. I would just say it's better abstract. That's because I think it's better than the other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, just because I think I learned how to hone that in,
That's cool.
you know, better than I used to. But
Yeah.
that's
And
better, I guess.
yeah, totally. What have you has this been a big project for you during quarantine, like creating this book, or has this book been done for a while?
Well, I kind of started, I don't recall. Well, I think it was like at the beginning of this year, I started making the images and I just made one. And it was just for the moment. I made it with this certain color palette and this style, this mood that I really liked. And so I was like, okay, this might have some potential to be something large. So then I just started making more and more. And that's usually how I work. I'll make like an ungodly amount of something in a style. And then instead of editing each one, I will edit to like fit to say which ones will make it basically.
Yeah, right.
Down is the way to say that. The photos I've been sitting on for a while because a lot of them are just stuff that I've had, you know, because I've just taken photos, but I'm not a photographer, so I don't really do much with them. I just use them for my own work. So I've been sitting on those for a decent amount of time. But yeah, cool. So it was mostly in quarantine. I think May is when I got the idea to do it. And then I contacted this guy that I met in the Chicago Art Book Fair. Cool. In Seattle. Cold Cube is what they're called. And I own a couple of his books and they're just so beautiful that I was like, let's see what working with him would be like. And it paid off. They're fantastic. But yeah, so we started then and then kind of just here we are today.
Wait, so what did he do exactly to help?
Printed it. Yeah, he printed it and binded it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it is the specific like risograph technique is that you need someone with that printer, someone who knows what they're doing because it's a high maintenance device. Yeah, but
that's cool. Is that been what you've been working on for most of quarantine? Have you been up to anything else? Any other like projects or just work or anything else you've been doing a lot?
I've been painting a lot because it's far more, I like how I can start and finish something easier. I don't have really an avenue except for posting them periodically, like on Instagram, but I don't have an avenue to share them. But I like the idea of it kind of being like one and done because as much as I think I've gotten better at like not editing things, I'm going to use a double negative, but not editing things. Just when you're working digitally, it's very like tempting to just edit a ton and never stop editing. But with painting, obviously there's a learning curve there because I'm not technically a good painter at all. I don't know what I'm doing. So there's a lot of things that I just totally cannot do.
Yeah.
So it like limits me in a good way, I think. Because when I spend too much time on Photoshop, I find like I'm just getting impatient because there's so much I can do that I want to do, and there's no limitations. So I
Right.
can go, 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 you know. But then painting like slows me down, and I like that. So
Yeah, it almost feels like yeah, you're giving yourself a restriction. And well, I feel like there's two things going on. One is that you're using it's a new craft, like a new art form.
yeah,
So you're gonna have a little bit of that like beginner's luck to where like it has some magic to it, to where you're almost just
yeah,
anything you do works. It just feels exciting. Do you feel that? That's how I've been painting over quarantine for the first time, and it's like I feel
yeah,
like I can't lose. I'm just like that
yeah,
looks great, and I'm like I don't know
yeah,
what I'm doing, but I didn't even mean to make this piece, but I'm happy with it.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah. I
mean?
think I started painting on paper for probably started like close to the beginning, like around March. So it was around the corner, basically.
Yeah.
COVID was, or a little earlier than that too. But then just recently, like probably a month or two ago, I got started painting on canvas to try to like up the ante a little bit, if you will. Um, and I liked the painting on paper because it was kind of that for a little bit where I was like liking everything I did and I felt like I couldn't fail. And it was encouraging. But then like I hit the slump where I was like, oh, this is horrible. I can't make anything.
Yeah.
And then like I realized like the pressure that was daunting and still is, but of having a canvas, a blank large canvas that cost money, you stretched it and everything, there was a lot of work involved. Like the pressure of that pushes you to kind of take it more seriously and at least for me, like give me more of a sincere relationship, I guess. So, but yeah, so I
Well
definitely
put.
had,
Well put.
I put that up.
Sincere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but then I'm getting back to a more like comfortable and decent relationship with it where I'm not like too excited, but not like too down on it, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Right. Okay. So talking about a new art form, but then also when you're talking about having limitless possibilities when using Photoshop, that
yeah,
reminds me of like a lot of my friends and myself now who um, create music on a computer with like a digital workspace and
yeah,
with a DAW, and it's like you can do an endless amount of things with an endless amount of tracks.
yeah,
And something that I learned for the first time actually in a college lecture, but something that I've heard time and time again with art in any form is that a lot of times the restrictions that you have are what help you with your creativity. So sometimes that like
yeah,
endless ability can be what weirdly restricts you in a weird way.
yeah. Because then you're too worried about what it could be, and you're not letting it be what it should be, I guess.
Yeah. How do you put limitations on yourself as somebody using Photoshop? I feel like, yeah, you could just always be
Yeah.
not done.
I think since I've entertained like drawing and doing things physically lately, the way that at least now my limitation is working is like I have a lot less like screen time patience. Like it's affecting my eyes differently, you know, like, and I'm getting so tired when I work digitally too long. So like that limitation is helping me. While before I was doing it so much that I could do it for 4 or 5 hours and not and like forget I was doing it.
Wow.
But now that I'm working on other things that are not straining on my eyes, when I go to it, it is. And so like right now the limitation is time, but I'll probably flip that when I get used to it, you know. But
Whoa. Yeah. Just like your eyes, just from the blue light or whatever it is they
yeah,
talk about.
yeah.
Do you have to wear like special glasses for that? Or do those glasses help
These
take care of that?
glasses have like a little bit of a filter in it. Just yeah, like a blue light filter, but I
Yeah.
don't have anything else besides it. And it's also just like you're like zooming in so much and everything, and like just getting close to the screen that it's,
I could see that. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah. Clay, living with Clay Mortensen, he would always have like, he had special Warby Parker like glasses because he
yeah.
would just edit all day long,
Dude,
all day and all night.
that's insane. But
Um, I do also want to ask you about geriatric.
yeah.
Yeah. I just
What
think
about
that's,
him?
well, I'm just curious. I would love to hear how things are going with that and like
Yeah.
what you're up to with that.
So I put out an album kind of recently. Uh, I don't remember when. A month ago, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe.
about a month ago. Um,
See if I can find that out.
but yeah, like geriatric started out as this joke. I remember I was with Brisson and Niall thinking about like it just came to me. I was like, what if there was a name geriatric, like the adjective in for pediatric, there's geriatric. I was like, what if there was a name for that? And then I was like, oh, if I ever made music, it would be that. And so then when my friend gave me Logic, I just was like, didn't know what to name it, so I named it that. But then I like ran with it. So it started out with a joke or as a joke, and it's slowly getting more um, refined. I still see it as this kind of escape from visual art because as much as I love music, it's like a huge part of me. So I don't see it as like this half-assed thing, you know what I mean? But it is also this like sidebar kind of removing myself from visual art. But I did that virtual gallery with my younger brother who 3D modeled all of my pieces in that short video. And we decided to like jokingly act like geriatric is this other character, you know, which obviously is not like, I don't care if people know. It's not like the secret I'm trying to keep.
It's on your
But
Instagram.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like I'm cool with it, but I like the idea of joking as if it's this third party. So I
Right.
made this kind of theory of all tongue in cheek of like who he is. And I have this like this intention for that to continue to be this like side character, you know, which could be
Yeah.
interesting. You know, I'm letting it kind of form. That's the most fun thing about it is that it is like super low stakes, you know,
Yeah. Right.
because it is all like you were saying earlier, like all of that is made like in a DAW. I mean, I have equipment, I have a keyboard, a synth and everything, but like all of that is made. I'm not recording anything live. Well, I did try to record a lot of stuff live for the new stuff. So there are a bunch of layers that are live, but
For newer stuff, like after
no, like pools of
Pools
glass.
of Glass.
Yeah, there's a lot more like live recorded things, but yeah.
Cool.
So,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, it's definitely this like escape, which is super fun. So.
Yeah. What did you say your brother helped you with?
So my younger brother is going to school for architecture, and so he is like really well versed on like 3D modeling software and stuff like that because
Oh
he has
yeah.
to. And so during quarantine, like right when quarantine started, within like a couple weeks into it, I had the idea of like all these people were doing these galleries, these like digital galleries. And I was like, I don't have the capabilities to, nor can I afford it to like do a true like a Google Maps type gallery where you walk through it and it's fully 3D. I
Yeah.
was like, I
Totally.
can't do that, but like maybe I can do a smaller version. So then I remembered my younger brother is well versed on that. So then we had this idea of he models, like I gave him complete freedom and said, you make a building that you want, because he's also super into that and wants to go into architecture. So he makes this building, and then I was like, yeah, just make it like a gallery, and then I'll give you a bunch of paintings to put up. And then we did it, and then I like wrote a song for it, and Geriatric wrote a song for it, and then it all came to fruition. But like I've been thinking about it lately. Like hopefully someday in the future we can like 3D model that thing and get it like a full like interface that you can walk through. But like
That would
in
be
order
so
to do
cool.
that, he had to export because we just have the free version of Enscape is the program. And so he had to export. The only way we could get something from it, like an actual like product, was a video. Um, unless you pay for the whole thing, which is like an ungodly amount because it's like an industry software or something. So,
Yeah, right.
but hopefully someday we can make it real because that would be really fun to just have like a little Minecraft like gallery.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I hope that happens. That is really exciting. I guess so. I guess here's my final question for you. Is just like in terms. I know you're going to be in Nashville for the next year.
Mhm.
Since you just put out this project, and just like what else you got going on? Is there anything else like on the horizon in terms of like projects, or whether it's geriatric or just like uh, visual art books, commission?
I
Anything you're excited
definitely
about?
always have art book ideas like ready. I'm trying to like definitely the next one because I have an idea for another one, but I'm trying to sit on it for a while because I don't want to like put them out too quick because I've had the I think I've done that before where I put stuff out too quick that it like devalues it. And I don't want to rush it. Like I have a problem with rushing, so I should just relax. But yeah, so I definitely have ideas for that, but I'm trying to give more attention to painting and things like that to make more perceivable like I guess yeah, like just more art objects. So I think a lot of my stuff has been like reproducible type things, and I love that, and I think that's great in its own right, but I'm trying to make more like one-off type things so I can have this versatility of a $20 book that has 36 paintings or images in it, and then have one painting that you can also get. So
Yeah.
kind of broaden that a little bit. I would love to have a show sometime, but got to play that by ear for obvious reasons. But that's
Yeah.
probably that's probably the most like serious endeavor is a solo show sometime soon. So
That's cool. Yeah, I hope things clear up.
yeah,
Obviously,
absolutely.
it'd be cool to go to something like that. And
Yeah,
thanks for coming on and talking to
for having
me.
me, man.
Everybody who has made it this far, you should go to I guess follow Grant.Gasser on Instagram. Go to grantgasser.com. Is that the name of the website?
Yeah,
Cool. Or on your on your Instagram, you've got a link tree that
yeah.
has a bunch of
Well,
links.
little lime tree.
So yeah, man, it's been really fun catching up a little bit, and I
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on and talking.
thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right,
Cheers,
pal.
man. Peace out.